Nobody believes in you. What are you prepared to do about it? Don't let no one come into your house, take your meal, do what you need to do today. I'm not nervous. I'm just telling you.
The first thing I told Coop was, I was like, man, I was a little horny in my route. I was like,
joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ.
While field and floods, rocks, hills, and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love.
Ladies and gentlemen, just like that, the regular season of the GFL is over, and that means it's time to dance. We are officially in the playoffs, week 1 coming up here before we know it. Brian, we talked on the show last week about some of the locks that had already happened, but there were some big unknowns for how the rankings, how the seeding was going to shake out. So we got to start with our headlines, where we always do. Let's catch the listeners up to what's been going on.
Yeah, I hope you all have been paying attention to this last week. Oh my God, maybe matchup of the century going down. It was, I don't know if you all were paying attention on Sunday, as I think the whole nation was just glued to their TV. The projections were right there. Caden would go down by 20 points, he would come back. Brett would stay right here at 140, go down and up just like that. I mean, listen, obviously I'm talking about the Brett-Caden matchup, and there's a headline that's come out of that for me. It's Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki. Obviously, we all know what happened in the 2011 finals.
Ugh.
Dirk Nowitzki came in there, a big, lanky white guy, similar to Caden, came in there, gave Brett the work, the absolute work, put 150 on him, to what, 128? Oh my God.
My goodness, Brian.
Go on.
My headline, right here in big text. Whether you heard or not, LA turned tup.
LA turned tup?
I'm going to run you through this. Whether, a name for a castrated male sheep. A ewe, an adult female sheep. A herd, a group of sheep. And a tup, another name for an adult male sheep, also known as a ram, after the weeks and weeks of heartbreak from the Rams to Caden's team. They finally get it done. Puka and Kyron combined for 56 points in a 44-42 victory over the Bills. And it happened. Caden's in the playoffs.
He's in. LeBron's third leg is out. He's out. Literally, he lost 6 straight. He's out. LeBron's third leg missed the playoffs. He's third in points for. He's third in points for. That is absurd. I cannot believe that. Cooper, who let you out of the insane asylum? Because that headline was crazy. I hope there's more.
Also, quick update. Live fruit check from Will. He's got the lime on hand.
As he should. Listen, the more that Jimmy talks to me about it, the more he starts to make sense, which is that's the danger of Jimmy, I understand.
You're in this business long enough, you either quit or you see yourself become Jimmy.
Cooper, do you own a printer?
Not currently. I've been in the market before.
I do. And I'll tell you right now, I'm experiencing some printer failure. I think I may have run out of ink because, I mean, how many headlines am I going to print about Jamar Chase? Seriously. Like, what's going on here? He literally prints one every single week. I don't know. How do you stop this guy? I don't understand. 45? I needed 40 points to beat Matt on Monday night. He had it in the bag, locked up. Too bad he was across from the one guy in fantasy football this year who could get it done. And he got it
Crazy.
done. Listen, how do you explain something like that?
Put Bart throwing to Lisa on the screen. Give me the Simpsons fun day.
Do the Cowboys want to let them score at some point? The ball's all the way out at the 40-yard line, so Bart will throw. It's Lisa, puts her foot in the ground, leaves her dad in the dust, and says, if anyone needs me, I'll be in the end zone.
Brian, my next headline, you know I'm a fan of music artists. My headline for this week, Motley Crue fans excited for Encore. Now,
Seems pretty straightforward, all right?
you're a rock lover, I understand. You know the infamous 80s rock band Motley Crue. Well, they have a lesser-known song called Goin' Out Swingin'. And would you believe it? 4 teams in the league scored their highest points of the season in the last week of the regular season.
This
Matt,
week?
Chris, Caden, and Kyle all put up huge numbers. And it has to make me think, what could have been? I wish some of these managers would have gotten their act together a little bit earlier in the season, but boy, am I excited to see them duke it out in their postseason matchups.
You telling me Matt's highest score is 138 for the entire
That's
year?
correct. That's
Oh, my
correct.
Interesting.
Fun fact, Will and JD had their worst performances of the season.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Wow, 2 ends of the spectrum. Look at that. Just
All
like
in
me.
all, this was our second highest points for in a week on the season.
You kind of alluded to it right there. You gave me a nice little segue. Cooper, you ever been playing Black Ops and some 12-year-old kills you and he says into his mic, yeah, skill issue, buddy. Skill issue.
Skill issue,
I
honestly.
think Logan was getting a little bit of that. Instead, he was getting told skull issue. It's a skull issue. How do you like that? Gets beat by his own Vikings. It beat your own Vikings. It really do.
It do.
71 from 2 guys. JJ and Jordan Addison got nearly 40. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, Kyle literally scored 185 points, which is 2 points off the record in the last season.
185 out of Kyle's team. The team that
What's that?
scored 79 points the week before last.
That's absurd. I enjoyed seeing him eat the zucchini, but he didn't want to do it again. I mean, Logan's last 4 games, get this. 96, 116, 99, 97.
Ooh.
He's 1-3 after going 6 straight. Going 1-3.
Not where
This
you
is
want
not-
to be
not
heading
where you
into the
wanna be.
postseason. My final headline, and I'm going to need you to stick with me on this one, okay?
I'm stuck.
League favorite Giannis Antetokounmpo contracts rare lung disease after being booked for noise complaint against his Tahiti vacation flight crew during aircraft freefall.
Okay, I'm there. Okay, all right. It's all
You
going
want
straight.
You want to take a swing at this one?
No.
Let me
I
put
do
this.
not.
Let me rephrase this for you.
Okay.
Preferred power forward contracts pulmonary fibrosis after personal foul for PU Forte comments against French Polynesian pilot flying during power failure.
I'm sensing a P theme here.
Dumb it down even one more time.
Oh my god.
PF contracts PF after PF for PF comments against PF during PF. we spend so much of the season talking about the wins and losses, but you know what else PF stands for?
Points
for. We had 3 teams finish at 8 and 6 with only 22 points for, separating the 3rd, 4th, and 5th seeds in the playoffs. Myself, John, and Logan, respectively.
Yep.
This drastically changes the playoff picture. We've now got the Florida Man and Skull facing off, while Caden and I go back to Olive Garden for the Caesar Salad Bowl.
Cooper, were you considering sitting CeeDee Lamb so that maybe you could get an easier bid? The media is saying, and by that I mean me, is saying, were you trying to duck Caden in that first round matchup?
He scares me. I'm not going to lie.
I'll say it right now. That's the best matchup in the first round. I think
They
whoever.
might be.
Yeah. I think, we'll get to that next episode. We got a lot of predictions to get through here. The regular season has concluded, as you all very well know. Some of you more than others. This is when we usually do the award ceremonies. And what we have to do as the media, as it is our duty to represent, nominate, if you will, managers, coaches, whatever will you, teams for these awards. We got some classics, and we're bringing a new one into the mix this year. Cooper, where do you want to start?
I think we got to start with the ugly duckling of the bunch, the most disappointing award. No one wants to hear their name on this list, unlike the other ones we're about to talk about. But I have to address the elephant in the room for most disappointing manager, coach, team, as Brett of LeBron's third leg. When the number 1 overall draft pick gets you less than 50 points on the season, you make one bad trade and you have minimal waiver wire pickups, there's not a lot of redeeming qualities there to suggest otherwise.
Yeah, and I think it highlights, it's not worst team, it's most disappointing.
Yep.
To be the most disappointing, you need to have higher expectations. And I think that really highlights this. Yeah, we can put Brett on there, and I think we're also going to nominate Jimmy and JD, right? I think so. Jimmy, obviously, Jimmy looked like a stud in the beginning of the year, an absolute stud. Hello. I even said myself around week 3, this guy might win the league. He had a crazy team.
He was scary.
He did. Some would say, all right, injuries. Oh, injuries ruined my team. Patrick Mahomes blew up Rashee Rice's knee, which did happen, which is fair. But he also contributed to the loss of Derrick Henry. And I just, the waiver wire moves were not there for me. It's a coaching thing. And JD, I thought JD would come out with I thought he'd make a trade this year. I thought he'd come out swinging this year. Once again, at the beginning of the year,
trades.
We both loved him. We loved him. To think that he would be in the bye, in the losers bracket, I just didn't see it.
Brian, I'm also going to nominate the Silly Willies as most disappointing.
Please do.
There was, of course, rumors and talks before the season about the involvement from the manager. But if the commissioner himself is going to go so far as to bring in an outside presence to lead the team, and then for that new leader to be shackled and not feel like he has the freedom to make the changes the team needs, it was a team that was on the precipice of a breakthrough all year. When you've got Lamar at quarterback, anything can happen.
True.
And it just never did.
Next up, we're going to go with the most engaged. Man, do I love the most engaged award. It might be my favorite award. We just love engagement here at the Ball and Chain. Personally, I mean, I'm nominating John and Jimmy here. I think those are the best options here. I mean, Jimmy, God, for all his flaws, for all his annoyances, the man is active and he's engaged, and you can't fault him for that. You just can't. John, taking on the role of our punishment czar, has been slightly dropping the ball here in the last few weeks, but we're going to go ahead and let that go. He's always doing that. Just sent a funny little Snapchat about Transformers in the group chat. Come on, you love to see it.
I'm also going to nominate our reigning champ, Chris Morley of the Bikini Bottom Goobers.
True.
Not the most vocal, necessarily, and this is somewhat biased, but that man has watched and reviewed every episode of Ball and Chain. He's been on the waivers every single week of the season, multiple times in some weeks. Just because he's sitting there already, I don't think we can overlook him.
Cooper, you're very familiar with this one. We're going to do the comeback team. We're going to do the comeback team of the year. Obviously, the Tinglers won it last year on the end of a historic run. So you know what it takes to get that. Personally, I think there's really only 2 candidates for this one. You and John, both people who had a very slow start. John started 2-5. And he ended up going 6-1 to make the playoffs. You yourself had that 4-game losing streak. You did exactly what you did last year. You said, "Oh, there's no way I'm making the playoffs. There's no way I'm doing any of that." And then you just run the table and just do your thing. I think those are really the only 2 options there.
Yeah, I mean, John at the halfway point in the season was dead last at 2-5.
That's
and
insane.
made some pretty remarkable waiver pickups to turn his season around. The Tinglers, of course, at the time, the Toe Suckers scored the lowest ever in GFL history at under 55 points.
That's
to
true.
now finish the season averaging about 130 over the past 6 games, clinching the 3 seed. It's a compelling argument. I can't lie.
Best punishment. Man, do we love seeing a good punishment. I think This one, Cooper, correct me if I'm wrong. This one's going to be more of an open ballot here. I think we all just kind of vote on. Maybe write in your favorite punishment here. Sort of like if anybody's seen America's Funniest Home Videos, that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing. We like that. Some of my favorites, just personal favorites. I love seeing Caden get up in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Bedhead and all. Grumpy.
I'd stand in front of my dresser for 10 minutes waiting for the Snapchat to come through to know what to put on for the day.
Just shirtless. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my hands right now, Ricky Bobby style. And then obviously I'll go ahead and put the Jimmy meme back up there. I love seeing Jimmy eat a banana. Any day of the week at any time of day.
Yeah, I mean, 2 classics. I'm going to nominate a couple other ones, maybe lesser remembered ones. JD with the OG soup shotgun with just the chunkiest, most viscous soup possible. Really trying to slurp it down. And then for commitment alone, the performance itself was nothing to write home about, but Will giving us another soup shotgun from New Zealand across the pond has to go in there, honorable mention for myself.
In a bag, too. In a bag. Easier? Harder? Who knows? The crown jewel here of the GFL. I believe we had a 3-way tie last year for Coach of the Year. It is the Coach of the Year. Man, we got some real competitors this year.
It's not Brett this year. I'll spoil that one now.
Brett this year. Holy shit! I thought it was a runaway from the coaching metric episode. Did you see those numbers? Those numbers were off the charts. Personally, Cooper, I think we got to talk about you and Logan. You've compiled quite a squad, and then to go and do what you did during the regular season and make the 3 seed, I think it's definitely possible. Some people have doubts that you have the lowest points against in the league by, 60 points.
That's called being an intimidating squad.
By over 60 points. Very interesting.
Brian, hold on.
Oh, I was just going to go right past that. I was just going to...
How many points did Ohio State score against Michigan? Does that mean Michigan's not a good team because they won in a low-scoring game? Absolutely not.
I have my own questions. Listen, fine. After what I said about Davis Warren last episode, I'm inclined to agree with you. That's a Heisman candidate. And then I got to put Logan on there. I mean,
he's made some trades.
Yes. Again, the Coach of the Year is about what you have done during the regular season to put your team in a position for success. Just getting that Derrick Henry trade off. He picked up Josh Downs. That was big for him. Just getting the job done there. Make his team better.
Yeah. Right, at risk of collusion, I am going to have to nominate the Brian football team.
Let's go.
When you're 155 points up on points for on the season, when you would have been 11-3 based on median scores throughout the season.
Oh yeah.
When you bring in a guy like Saquon, you have at a time was the number 1 running back and the number 1 wide receiver. Also, half of your roster is not people you drafted. One of the most active managers in terms of trades. You made 5 throughout the season.
5 big ones.
4 of which heavily in your favor. I think 1 or 2 of those are up for debate as to if you won or lost them. But nevertheless, not the team you started with on draft day, and yet continued success throughout the season, I think is a hallmark measure for a Coach of the Year.
Amazing.
I would be remiss to not also bring up 2 other names. John, for many of the same reasons I just explained in Comeback Team of the Year, he went from dead last at 2-5 to making the playoffs, getting the 4 seed. Names like Cedric Tillman, Jonnu Smith, Kareem Hunt, all coming off waivers.
True. That really helped.
Something widely accepted in baseball is the eye test. It's not always about the stats. It's not always about the technique or the knowledge or the intuition. Sometimes it's just about that's a good-looking team and they figure out how to make it happen. And for that reason, I also have to nominate Caden as Coach of the Year. Wow. He had some of the toughest matchups down the stretch. We dubbed it the gauntlet during rivalry weeks.
He did.
Many of the most memorable bad beats, and he stayed consistent. He stayed engaged throughout it all and rallied his guys when it mattered. Like I called out earlier, scoring his most points in a week on the season to finish out the regular season. A emphatic stamp in I deserve a spot in the playoffs.
It is.
I think Caden deserves a spot in Coach of the Year conversation.
Man, that's fair. That is fair. He's got a good-looking team. He just does. Matchups?
Matchups. We only got 4 of them this week. We've got Chris, Brian, JD, and Jimmy all on buys in their respective brackets.
Huge.
What game do you want to start with here, Brian? Maybe loser's bracket first?
Yeah, actually, I like that a lot. Let's start the losers bracket. Let's go Kyle and Brett here. What?
You owe me 2 cores. You owe me 2 cores to start.
I owe you a big 2 cores. Kyle saw what I said and he said, "Huh, boys, put it to him." He scored 185. Good Lord. I mean, again, I said in the group chat, sneaky Kyle moneyline bet here. I don't know what to think here in this matchup. I don't know what to think. Kyle's coming off 185. I think Brett's depressed. I think he is. We're going to replay that video. I think he's sad.
Things are just going really poorly for me. I feel like an old man. I was telling you guys earlier, I had Arby's for dinner. My teams, I'm a Bears fan. The Bears are doing terrible. I'm a Spartan fan. The Spartans are doing terrible. I've lost 5 in a row. I'm about at the end of my rope. And I just need it. I just need this one bad. I bought a Breeze for the first time in a while. I woke up feeling really bad. Tough week at work. Things have been tough, so I'm ready for a win.
I'm taking Kyle. I'm taking Kyle here. I'm taking Kyle in this matchup. I have to.
Brian, I hate to agree with you. There's nothing sneaky about this. Brett, he was at rock bottom when we talked to him last week. So who knows where he is now? I see no reason how he gets in no way he gets in the locker room and turns his season around coming into playoffs with a 6-game losing streak. Meanwhile, Kyle's still got an upset tummy from that zucchini he ate.
He does.
I wouldn't have guessed it. No one would have. But I think Kyle gets the dub here and is safe from running that marathon.
He's going to play the Browns D against Kansas City.
He just may.
We both picked Kyle.
We did.
All
Sorry,
right,
Brett.
Oh my goodness. All right, we got Matt and Will. Matt and Will here. Will has, what's his name? Lamar Jackson back. He's got him back.
Yep.
Thank goodness. Matt has his entire team back
Yep.
off the bye, so that's pretty good. I don't know. I think Matt's team is just a little bit too good here. I think Matt gets it done.
Brian, this is where we differ.
I'm glad we differ.
I've talked about it publicly on this show that Matt is losing the league in its entirety, and that starts this week. I think the spite and the anger is building up in Will this week. Every time he gets a fruit check, he had to turn his ringer on his phone.
Oh,
he is not a guy. He is not a guy attached at the hip to technology,
Clearly.
and so being up against a rock in a hard place, i.e., losing points or eating fruit. He's going to be angry heading into this matchup, and he's going to be tired of the GFL. I hate to say it. He'll have the offseason to recoup, work on some personal growth, all the things he's talked about in prior interviews on this show. Mm-hmm. But that is a man full of hate, much in the way Caden was heading into his matchup against Brett, and we all know what happened there.
We do know we know exactly what happened there. You don't want to see him at the end of a dark alleyway. It's time to get into these high stakes. Cooper, the playoffs are here. We have playoff games tomorrow. We have them this week. Oh my God, playoff games this week, and we're gonna start with you're in them. Holy fuck, we're gonna do you and Caden first. We get to see the Caesar Salad Bowl for the 3rd time this year. We talked about it earlier. We got, I think, the 2 better teams playing this week. I think it's a damn shame that you guys got to play this week.
I know.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Cooper, I'll let you go first here. I don't want to sully your analysis here with what you might think.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to confidently come up here and say that the Tinglers are moving on. The odds would suggest as much, both the money line on this week's game, but also, as mentioned earlier in the episode, Caden and I have played each other 7 times in 3 seasons. I believe no other teams have played more than that. Currently, the record is sitting at 5-2 in my favor. Yep. Even in the first season of the GFL when I had 4 total wins, one of those was against Caden.
Yep. man.
That being said, I got him in week 1. I got him in week 14. Front and end. Call that a Caesar salad sandwich for this season. I think this is where the tides turn. As much as I hate to speak this over myself,
What is going on?
I've got a fairly deep squad. I've got some choices to make. That
You
is
do?
a blessing and a curse. It is not out of conversation for DJ Moore to be in the flex this
I was
week.
going to say, is DJ playing this week? Is
He
DJ playing this week?
He just may. There's a lot of calculations going on, and I think I make the wrong one. And that bench points is the difference between a win and a loss. I think Caden moves on to the semis.
That's absolutely absurd to be picking against yourself in the playoffs like that. Wow. I mean, what the hell do I think? Just for note, Caden was 1-3 against Brett until last week. Got it done. I mean, God, I don't even know where to begin here. Cooper, you got a squad. I've said it before. I think you may have the best
It's a good team.
the best constructed team here. However, you do have bust potential. What do I do? Pick against my co-host or pick against my own flesh and blood? What do I do here? Cooper, you're winning this game. Much to my dismay, because then I would have to play you. You're winning this game. I just don't see a way where you don't score under 138 points, and I think you get it done. I mean,
I want to come out publicly and say it is all respect between Caden and I. Him and I had a very heartfelt moment after the heartbreaking loss, the Cooper Cup garbage time touchdown.
Yeah.
In some matchups since then, it's all love between the two of us.
Goodness. I mean, all right, we got Logan and John next. We got the Florida man. It's very much like Indiana going to the college football playoffs. Those fans are like, oh, we're going to the playoff? No way. Just amazing. I mean, great for the organization here. And then Logan, it's really kind of flying under the radar there. Logan's also first-time playoff year.
Wow, yeah.
He really is. I didn't really think about that until now. I mean, just two mid teams. I'll say it. I'll put it out there right now. Just two mid teams. I think John comes out here and gets the dub because I think John's ceiling is a little bit higher than Logan's. Logan has been tripping, tumbling, stumbling into these playoffs. It's going to follow him.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown taking on Pittsburgh is not the matchup you want in the playoffs for either of those star players on Skull. I got to stick to my guns and my prediction for the playoffs as a whole. John squeaks this one out.
I think I agree with you on that one. Man, I mean, if me and Chris were to play, who do you think would win? Because I'm definitely going to win that one. He's going to have to do it here.
You win this week easy.
Yeah, that's pretty goodness. Wow, another successful episode.
Are you forgetting something?
Not at all. We have a bonus segment. Oh my goodness, we have a bonus segment. Cooper, you sent me a funny little video on Instagram last week. And I took it and I ran with it.
No.
Cooper, have you played this game before?
I've played this one.
The question is simple, smash or pass. If you all watched last year, we did one with players. NFL QBs, these are the coaches. Next up, do you know what that is?
That's gotta be Mike McDaniel's wife.
That is Mike McDaniel. Smash or pass.
Smash. She's
What are you
got
thinking
like
about?
English teacher energy.
That's right down your alley. That's easy. Come on now. What are we doing here? Next up. Oh,
Pass.
that's a pass.
It looks like Trump and Hillary had a child.
Oh, that's actually a great comparison there. Next up. Oh, it's Dan Campbell. Look at that.
I'm intimidated.
So am I. She's 6'5".
In the right context, which I think is only after drinking at the rodeo all day.
How many beers at the rodeo? You see her get on the bull.
More than Lions have wins. I'll say that.
Wow. All right. Sounds like a yes to me. Next up. It's Andy Reid.
It's the chick from Monsters Inc. Mike Wazowski.
Oh my God, it's her. Mike Wazowski. Is that a yes?
That's a hard no.
Hard no. All right, next up, Mike McCarthy.
No. This
Just
looks
a
like
no?
too many girls I went to high school with that peaked in high school. Can't do it.
That's, you know what, I'd have to agree with you on that one. Oh, it's Pete Carroll.
It's Ellen, you mean.
It's Pete Carroll.
Pass.
You're passing on Pete?
That's a hard pass.
That's rude. Next up, it's Brian Daboll.
She probably would make a mean breakfast the next morning.
That's somebody's Meemaw right there.
That is a Meemaw.
She looks like a perfectly nice lady.
There's got to be a lot of love in that. I'm going to give that one a soft yes.
A loving yes, if you will. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
Care to elaborate?
I don't know if I can say it on a public show.
All right.
But it's got to go crazy.
The first thing I told Coop was, I was like, man, I was a little horny in my route. I was like,
we're going to move on. Oh,
Smash.
I don't know how this got in here. Smash, though? Oh, okay. This is Sean McVay.
Yeah, that's Smash.
I mean, that's easy. I mean,
Easy.
What are we doing here?
Oh.
Packers head coach. What's his name? Matt LaFleur?
Yeah, that sounds
Miss
right.
LaFleur?
Pass.
Pardon me?
I think she'd talk a lot.
Are you out of your mind? You gave Brian Dable a soft pass?
Look, I'm not here to say what people want to hear.
What are you just lying? I need to take away your media credentials after that one. This
Hold
is
on. Go back one. Bring it back up. Let me recalibrate here. Well, when you're following up Gabe Davis, like, what do you expect? It's all downhill from there. All right, fine.
John Harbaugh.
I feel like I'm just too intimately familiar with the Harbaugh family to encroach on that Thanksgiving dinner.
Listen, attack every day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Smash.
And that's it. Cooper, great job. That went exactly as I would have liked it to go.
I am uncomfortable that you've made me do this.
All correct answers, by the way. All right, playoff games this week. Cooper, you got any final words for our competitors here, including yourself?
Sorry, I need to shake some of those mental images real quick. The season starts now. Win your matchups. It's as simple as that. Get in the locker room. Tell the guys what they need to hear, whether they want to hear it or not.
Of course.
Make it happen. If a single team scores under 100 points this week, they're a disgrace.
They have to be.
This is where Seth came on and talked about how you just get players back out there if they're injured.
Yeah.
Get them back out there. Lad, I want to see him on the field.
Oh, yeah.
CD, on the field.
Yep.
Every other player that's questionable doesn't exist. Get him on the field.
Get him on the field. Cross out those cues. You're getting out there, buddy. This is when the coaching really comes into play here.
Well said, Brian.
And everybody else in the losers bracket, I'm praying for you. That is it. Good luck to all. Ball and chain. We'll see you next time.
Backed by popular demand,